Oh, hey there, fellas. This is the one, the only, the Onioncreature. And today I'm just making a video, and I'm going to talk about some of the highlights of this year, specifically in regards to Nintendo games. This year has been incredible for Nintendo. We've had the release of the Nintendo Switch alongside some truly fantastic games, and I just thought that I would talk about the ones I played, and you know, in a variety of different categories. And yeah, I thought that would be a good idea. So here we go. So obviously there were some games I wasn't able to play. There were just so many this year. So I'll include like a list of the ones I have, and so that pretty much the only qualifications a game has to have is that it has to have been released this year, and I have to have played it. So, you know, pretty self-explanatory, but there you go. Our first category of the day is the best soundtrack. This is a category that is pretty cool. The soundtrack is a very important element of any game, and I think it's good to highlight some of the ones that really stood out this year. So how this is going to work is I'm going to have some honorable mentions, and then I'm going to have the top 5. So there you go. First up on honorable mentions for best soundtrack is Zelda Breath of the Wild. This game has a really fantastic soundtrack. It's more atmospheric than we've seen from Zelda in the past. There's a lot of time when you're playing the game where there's no music, but when it is there, it really does stand out, and it's really incredible. Some of the series best, just in terms of some of the cutscenes and some of the boss battles, and just some of the environmental music is really great stuff. Very unique for the Zelda series, and definitely worth note. And then another fairly atmospheric soundtrack, we have Metroid: Samus Returns. This is actually pretty much my first real Metroid game, conventional Metroid game. And the soundtrack in this really stood out to me because this is also, yeah, as I said, fairly atmospheric, sort of conveying the tone of this isolated space planet, SR-388. And then again, it has some more bombastic moments in some of the boss battles and chase scenes, which are really cool and very engaging, and yeah, just an incredible soundtrack alongside an incredible game, and one more on that one later, I'm sure. Next up we have Snipper Clips. This game was released at the launch of the Switch. It's a smaller game about local co-op and sort of puzzle solving together. It's really fun. I love the art style, and the music especially really sold it. It's very cutesy music, but it totally fits with the game, and it's extremely catchy, so that's definitely worth mentioning, of course, this year. Next up we have Snake Pass, composed by renowned video game composer David Wise, who you may know for his work on Donkey Kong and some other Rareware games. Most recently he was involved in Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. But the soundtrack for Snake Pass is really great. Very chilled out, relaxed jungle vibe. It's really good stuff. Definitely recommend that game and its soundtrack. There was another one worth mentioning, of course, is ARMS. This is a game I love, and the soundtrack really helps sell the aesthetic of this sort of just fantastical, like, party festival vibe that the whole game has, and I absolutely love it. And great use of vocals, and I love how all the different tracks in the game are remixes of the same theme, but all done in different styles. You know, depending on the location and whatnot, it's really great stuff, and especially the credits music. Credits music is fantastic. One of the best songs this year. Moving on, then we have 2 entries side by side. I'm just going to cram them together: Team Kirby Clash Deluxe and Kirby's Blowout Blast. You know, I love Kirby music, of course, and there are a lot of remixed tracks in these games. Team Kirby Clash Deluxe has some really great, you know, boss battle music. We have some great returning tracks and an excellent final boss. One thing I really loved about this game is that the hub world music and the hub area music, every time you bought a certain amount of gem apples, the tree in the hub area would grow, and alongside that you'd also get new music, and the music got progressively more and more awesome, and then when you finally buy all of them, you get this like super awesome track. So that was like kind of the reason I actually bothered to buy all the gem apples, because I wanted to unlock the final version of that song, because it's just really awesome. And then Kirby's Blowout Blast was, of course, a sort of pseudo remake of Kirby's Dream Land, so of course we got a lot of remixed tracks from Kirby's Dream Land, some tracks we haven't really heard remixed all that much, and that was really great to hear, and I love all the songs in that. Really great stuff. Next honorable mention is, of course, Shovel Knight, Spectre of Torment. This game continues the trend of Shovel Knight games just having impeccable soundtracks. Just wonderful. It's perfect. And what I love about this one, especially when you compare it to the previous character campaigns, is that they actually remixed every single stage song, every main stage song, which goes along with the theme, because the stages themselves are actually quite remixed to fit alongside Spectre Knight's playstyle, which I just loved. I thought that was great, the way they use the themes and put them together in the different songs, all the boss music. It's just fantastic stuff. So that was our final game on the honorable mentions. Moving on to the actual numbered entries, we have number 5, we have Splatoon 2. This game is utterly beautiful music. The battle music, the Salmon Run, the music in Salmon Run is incredibly unique and fun and new. And then of course we have the Octo Valley music. And yeah, it's just incredibly solid. There's a great variety of different types of songs, especially in the battle mode. They actually recently added a lot of new songs, and I love all those. They're really fun and new. So yeah, just a fantastic soundtrack. Splatoon 1 also did, and it's no surprise that Splatoon 2 lives up to the first one. Next number, a bit of a surprise maybe, is Hey Pikmin. I thought one of the best aspects of this game, well, first of all, I was surprised that it was good at all, and that actually was really good. But the music and the atmosphere of this game just really impressed me, and yeah, the music itself really helped to sell that. And it just really works, and it's just a joy to listen to, honestly. So I just felt the need to include that on my list. A really standout soundtrack, surprisingly so, more so than I would have expected. Next up on our list is another surprising game this year, possibly the most surprising game this year, is Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle. This game had another ex-Rareware composer, what's his name? Grant Kirkhope. This soundtrack really worked for me. I thought it was really unique. It sort of goes for an orchestral style, and it really works at first. It takes a bit to get into, but the more you hear it and the more you just get into the style, it really works, helps out the game. There are a lot of really standout tracks. I love the tracks in the sort of spooky land. I thought those were really fantastic. Of course, I have the Phantom with lyrics, and then there's a remix of Donkey Kong's theme, but a very unique remix. I think the music in this game just goes a long way in just enhancing it, making the battles feel very exciting. It's honestly one of the best aspects of that game, and that's saying a lot because it is a really great game. Okay, number 2, we're into the big ones. We have Sonic Mania. This game has some just disgustingly catchy music. It's so good. It's ridiculously good. I mean, sure, there are a lot of returning songs from previous Sonic games, but they're remixed, especially in the Act 2 zones. The new songs are fantastic. It's just beautifully done. Not quite a Genesis game. It's not quite. It's slightly more than that. The music really helps with that, and it makes the game feel really exciting and really fun. And I just utterly love that soundtrack. Definitely one of the best this year, obviously, because it put on number 2. And Sonic games have always been known to have great soundtracks, and this one is clearly no exception. Even among Sonic games, it's one of the best. And then number 1, the final music soundtrack. This is the best one of my year, my favorite one of the year. My favorite soundtrack of the year, of course, is Super Mario Odyssey. This game has some of the most beautiful video game music ever created, I think. Whether it's Jump Up Superstar, the Cascade Kingdom, the Cap Kingdom, the Seaside Kingdom, Bowser's Kingdom, the Moon Kingdom, the final boss, the Mushroom Kingdom, the remix of Peach's Castle. Oh, there is an innumerable amount of songs in this game. New Donk City, of course. There's just so many songs, so many wonderful songs. This game, to me, just feels like the distillation of fun, and the music totally goes along with that. It's beautiful, it's adventurous, it's everything I wanted and more. We got a lyrical track in a Mario game, multiple actually, and it turned out incredibly well, like better than anyone ever could have expected. it's just utterly beautiful. By far my favorite soundtrack of the year. Definitely sang a lot, as I said, because there were a lot of honorable mentions, and took a long time to choose all this stuff, just because there's so much good music this year. I mean, I'm sure there's even some that I didn't mention that I'm sure just slipped past my mind. Wonderful year for soundtracks, and now we're done with that, so we get to move on to the next category. Okay, so this is a category I came up with because I think it's quite relevant, and it's the best port to the Switch. So this can be a port of a Wii U game. Pretty much any game that was ported to the Switch this year qualifies. So I thought this was quite relevant. We actually got a lot of ports, especially from indies and some third parties as well. So I thought this would be a good category, and actually came up with quite a few different games to talk about. So my first honorable mention is Puyo Puyo Tetris. I only played the demo, the Japanese demo specifically, but I felt the need to include it because I actually have played a lot of the demo, because it's endless and it's a lot of fun. It's Tetris, but you can also play versus. So this is with the asterisk. I've only played the demo, but just from that, this is definitely an incredibly well done port. It works perfectly on the Switch. This was a game that was released a while ago, I believe, on other systems. I might have only been in Japan. I'm not sure, but it's definitely its first time on the Switch, and even though I haven't even played the full game, I recognize the quality of this, and I thought it came out at a really good time. I think it was maybe shortly after the launch. It was around the launch window. Just a great game, even though I haven't actually bought it, but yeah, I just felt the need to mention that because just a great port. And then, of course, we have Shovel Knight. This is, of course, an honorable mention. Of course, Shovel Knight was going to be on a Nintendo system, and I thought it was pretty fun that Nintendo actually got Spectre Knight exclusivity for a month. That was kind of cool. It felt kind of special to get this to play Spectre Knight, because you're like, oh, I get to play it before pretty much everyone else, pretty much anyone who doesn't have a Switch. So that was kind of cool, and the port's just really well done. And I mean, of course, it is Shovel Knight. I don't think the Shovel Knight ports have ever had any issues. It's just beautifully done. You have single Joy-Con support, so you can play the multiplayer mode easily. And yeah, just a great port. Just had to give a shout out to the guys at Yacht Club doing good work as always. The last honorable mention I have is the Tomorrow Corporation games, being of course World of Goo, Little Inferno, and I haven't played the last one, which is Human Resource Machine. But I thought these ports were pretty, I felt the need to put in, specifically because they utilize the Joy-Con essentially as Wii pointers using their gyro. And it's not perfect, it can get out of sync pretty frequently, but it's also very easy to get it back in sync. I think it's a really good and innovative use of it. Nintendo themselves haven't even utilized the Joy-Con in this way. And hopefully this paves the way for other developers who have pointers in their games to do that. And of course, it also utilizes the touchscreen. Just really well done ports. I think those games are actually really fun and very, very unique. So check those out. So now we're on to the numbered games, and of course we have at number 5. I put Stardew Valley, because this is a game released on PC and I think other consoles, before the Switch. And I think this game is really just, as others have mentioned, is just a perfect fit for the Switch, because it's a game that you can really play just casually and just get a couple hours in, just build your farm and do that stuff. It's just a perfect fit for the Switch. The one complaint I have about it is I wish it had touchscreen support, but other than that, it's basically an ideal port. I think there's video functionality as well. This is just an example of a game that's perfect for the Switch, and it's great that they bothered to release it on the system, because it works really well on the system. I have it on my Mac, but I played it far more on my Switch just because it just works. It's far more convenient to play, and it just works incredibly well for that system, which is of course what you want out of a good port. Next up, we have a game that I think I put on more for its, largely for its importance, and that's Minecraft for Nintendo Switch. I haven't played a lot of this game. I did play, quite a bit when it launched, and it sort of fell off. Still play a little bit every once in a while. I'm mostly over Minecraft, but it's fun to play every once in a while. But the reason I included it is because I thought it was a really great show of support from Microsoft and those guys, and the fact that it has they're planning cross-platform play for such a huge game is really incredible. And it came out in like May, like really soon after the Switch's launch, far earlier than I would have imagined. And yeah, just another great game that works great on the Switch, like far more than other consoles. I'd still, the PC version of Minecraft is obviously the definitive version. If you were to buy a console version, the Nintendo Switch with the portability just totally, I'd say, outranks the other consoles, because like just having a game like that you can play essentially endlessly on a portable is just really great. So good on them for releasing that, especially for releasing it that early. And the port itself is well done. It runs well. It's consistent frame rate and whatnot. So I mean, well enough for me as someone who's not exactly technically savvy and whatnot. Number 3 on the best port is Rocket League. So this game came out recently. The port itself is slightly flawed. It's only 720p. It does have 60 frames per second docked, 30 frames per second handheld. But I think Rocket League is just a really big game, and I mean, it's still as big. It's not as big as it was, I think, but it's still big. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to play, even handheld mode. Just having the portability is really great. That's pretty much what goes for all of these ports. Just having the portability just adds a lot more value to these games. And the port itself is just really well done. It's really fun. This one has cross-platform play, which is incredible. I love that you can do that. It has some Nintendo exclusive cars and whatnot. It's just a great port, and I'm really glad that we got the chance to see it on the Switch. Okay, so number 2 for ports is Doom. This is more just a personal choice because I played Doom previously, and then I'm like, okay, it's on a system that I can play it on now. I have to get it. But yeah, Doom, it runs at 720p, 30 frames per second, which is obviously less than ideal. However, the game itself is still incredible. You got really great reviews when it launched previously last year, and now it's on the Switch. It has the portability. Performance is definitely negatively affected by that. However, it still works really well, and it's a lot of fun. And I mean, what more can you ask for a game? This is just a personal choice. Just the amount of now I was just so happy to see that game ported, and just the precedent that it sets to say that we can have modern generation games on the Nintendo Switch. Obviously, there's going to be technical shortcomings, but we can still have them, which I think is great. And that's also shown with Rocket League, and then they're also releasing the new Wolfenstein game as well. So I think that's just a really great precedent to set. The port itself is very well done and extremely enjoyable, obviously, because it's Doom, and it's renowned for being very enjoyable. So yeah, that's a really great game, a lot of fun on the Switch. And of course, this is a pretty obvious one for me. Best port on the Nintendo Switch of this year, of course, is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Mario Kart 8 is maybe my favorite Mario Kart game. It's pretty close between that and Double Dash. I've definitely spent an incredible amount of time on Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe does not add a lot. I think it adds enough. It has 1080p support. Obviously, it's portable now, so I found that it's a lot easier to get some of the 3-star, all the cups. Just you can do it anywhere. So it's like just do it while you're waiting, while you're on the bus or whatever, while you're riding in a car or whatever. Yeah, it's just great. It has new characters. The new battle mode is a lot of fun. It's not perfect, but I've never really been a battle mode person myself, so I don't mind too much. But it's a nice little distraction. Yeah, it's just a great port, and you just can't go wrong with Mario Kart 8. And the stuff they added, the tweaks to the gameplay, I think really improve it and make it more fun. So yeah, it's just a great port. It's just so awesome that we got a Mario Kart game, like a full Mario Kart game, the most fully featured Mario Kart game ever, I might say. Like a month after the system launched, which is just crazy. Just really great, and shows that ports can be really beneficial, when done right and, in the right place. Especially when you consider that the Wii U game, although Mario Kart 8 did sell well on the Wii U, obviously, it can only go so far on the Wii U because it had such a limited install base. Now with the Switch, just clearly selling better than the Wii U, games like Mario Kart 8 can reach a much larger audience than they ever could have on the Wii U. Okay, so next up we got the best eShop game. So this category is pretty much any game that was released on the Nintendo 3DS eShop or the Nintendo Switch eShop, primarily. So first from our honorable mentions list, I just wanted to talk about the Tomorrow Corporation games, being the ones that I played, of course, are Little Inferno and World of Goo. These are really great games. Yeah, they're really unique and fun, and again, with the pointer controls, very, very well done. yeah, I just wanted to include those little games just as some honorable mentions. Some good one there because they're pretty darn good. Check them out. Next honorable mention is Graceful Explosion Machine. This is by Vertex Pop. This is a really fun game, sort of arcadey. You play as a spaceship and you shoot aliens, and that's pretty much it. And it's a lot of fun. It's very colorful. The music's great. I love the style. It's actually very cheap. I think it's only $13. So that's a really great game. A lot of fun, and yeah, definitely felt the need to mention that one for sure. So next we have two games again reappearing: Team Kirby Clash Deluxe and Kirby's Blow Up Blast. Felt the need to put them in my honorable mentions because they're two really great games. Good value on Kirby's Blow Up Blast. You get a lot of content for the $8, more so than I think the other released sub games, Kirby Fighters Deluxe and DDD's Drum Dash Deluxe. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. A nice pseudo remake of Kirby's Dream Land. Really nice, simple gameplay, but still very enjoyable and fun. It's very challenging to get the high scores. I reviewed this game, so you can check that out for some more in-depth views on it. And then we have Team Kirby Clash Deluxe, Kirby's first free-to-play game, and I thought that it actually went really well. It is kind of pricey if you go for all of it, but of course there's no need to, and you get a lot of content, a lot of great content for free, and then the game will become less fun if you go for free. So yeah, I mean, and so pretty much how much money you put into the game is proportionate to how much time you want to spend in the game, which I think is cool. $30 is a bit much, but it still works and it's a lot of fun, and yeah, just great games. And then we have, of course, Shelf Knight, Treasure Trove / Spectre of Torment / whatever you want to call it, released on the Switch. Spectre of Torment is just a beautiful game, so much fun, and the gameplay, the story elements are really well implemented, tie into the Shelf Knight's world extremely well, and just an incredibly well crafted game. And I'm super excited to see the further Shovel Knight campaigns, and also what Yacht Club does next. They're just crazy talented studio. They do incredible work. On to the numbered entries, of course. At number 5 we have Bye Bye Box Boy. This is the third / maybe final of the Box Boy trilogy on the 3DS. This game, what I liked is that it introduced a lot of new elements, and it felt very fresh. The music, the sort of environments felt very new and unique for Box Boy. It's a lot of fun, great deal of content, very challenging puzzles at times. And near the end of the game, you get some really difficult puzzles. Even though, of course, the beginning it starts out quite easy. Very good difficulty curve. Gorgeous game. Check out all 3 of those. I mean, you can literally buy them all for $15, so there's no excuse. And yeah, so I think there's even a demo for at least the first one. So yeah. Again, that's another game I reviewed, so you can check out that if you want some more thoughts on it. Of course, I got the QB amiibo I have to talk about because this darn guy was not released in the United States, and that's just a shame. Next up on the eShop list, at number 4, we have Fast RMX. In terms of value, this game cannot be beat. It's $20. There's a whole lot of different tracks, modes, vehicles. It has a great online mode. It's just a lot of fun. It's basically a not F-Zero game. It's very in the style of F-Zero, and we're clearly not getting one of those anytime soon. So this fits the bill quite well. It's a great deal of fun. It's great multiplayer. You can do split screen. The visuals are incredibly impressive for the Nintendo Switch. Runs at 1080p, 60 frames per second. And it also got a free update somewhat recently where they added even more content, which was great. So yeah, this is just a great game, and of course made it on the list. Number 3 is kind of stretching it, but we have Snipper Clips Cut It Out Together. I'm saying this because it was originally released as an eShop title at launch, and it wasn't until very recently we got the Plus version. So I think it mostly counts because for the vast majority of the year it was exclusively an eShop title. So yeah, this game is a great deal of fun. I love the style. It's very, very cute, unique, fun style with this sort of paper aesthetic. Just figuring out the different solutions to the puzzles, by cutting out different shapes and experimenting. It's a whole lot of fun. Totally recommend it. And of course they added more content in Snipper Clips Plus, which I haven't gotten a chance to play yet, but I'll definitely do that in the future because it's a lot of fun. Also a good value, $20. So that's definitely a good one to look out for. It is fairly short, but I think for what you get, it is very, very worth it and a lot of fun. Number 2 on the top eShop list, we have Snake Pass. This is a game by Sumo Digital. It's essentially you play as a snake. It's a platformer without any jumping, and just figuring out how to maneuver the snake around the environments. It's very tricky at first, but then you slowly get to learn it, and then you can do some really fun, weird, wacky stuff with the snake. And you just sort of have to, I think the slogan of the game is "Think like a snake," and you really have to do that to solve the puzzles. And it's a lot of fun. Has a good deal of content, and definitely one of the best eShop games this year in my opinion. And it's a perfect fit for the Switch. It works really well on handheld and dock mode. So yeah, that's a good one. And number 1 is Sonic Mania. What I love about Sonic Mania is that it's essentially an officially released fan game. A lot of the creators behind it got their start in Sonic fan games, which I think it's just so cool that now they have an officially released Sonic title, original Sonic title. It's just great, and the game itself is just so fantastic in every aspect. The visuals, the music, the gameplay. Just all comes together it's incredibly impressive. And yeah, it's also only $20. So yeah, definitely a lot of really great games with a really great value this year. And there are a ton of eShop games that I didn't even get to try. Top of the list is Golf Story, Thumper, tons of stuff. There's just SteamWorld Dig 2. There's a whole lot of games I missed this year just because there's so many eShop games. But yeah, there's some really great ones. It's been a really great year for the Nintendo eShop, especially on the Switch. Okay, now we have this is the shortest category because, so the thing is the 3DS didn't actually have that many games this year. So for this one I only have the 5 because I only played 5 that were actually released this year. I played some others that were released in previous years. And there is one big omission just because it's one that I haven't gotten around to playing, and that's Pokemon Ultra Sun. I just haven't gotten around to it. I'll be playing that inevitably, but for this list it's not quite on it. So number 5, we have Kirby's Blowout Blast. It's just a lot of fun. It's a fun little game. It does what it does extremely well. Great to see the first sort of kind of proper 3D Kirby game, even though it is mostly focusing on the inhalation mechanic. But you got to start somewhere. So we have Team Kirby Clash Deluxe. Yeah, again, I talked about this one previously. The first free-to-play Kirby game. I think it went very well, all things considered. And this game has a lot of content. There's a whole lot of different bosses and costumes and all that, and just really great game, especially when you consider this free play. And I do like that it has a price cap so you can't just endlessly spend money. Like there's a limited amount of gem apples you can buy, which I think that was a good way of handling it, so you're not just dumping money into the abyss like a lot of free-to-play games. I thought that was a pretty cool direction. And number 3 on the best 3DS games, surprising me, is Hey Pikmin. I talked about this game and how elegant it is. I did find it to be a fair bit too easy. However, I had my complaints, but looking past them and just the experience I had playing it was just utterly beautiful. The visuals, the music. The gameplay is definitely, it's simplistic, however, I think it does work, and, you do have elements of exploration which work really well. I actually did a far more formal review, just because I felt it was deserving of it, and I just wanted to really articulate my thoughts on it. I actually wrote a script, which I haven't done really before. Yeah, this is just a really great game, and I was really, really pleased with it, especially considering, it wasn't one that people were necessarily looking forward to, because it's just such a drastically different direction from Pikmin, and not necessarily what people wanted, but I think in and of itself, it's really great. Number 2, returning again, Bye Bye Box Boy. I talked about this in the best eShop game. It's Bye Bye Box Boy. It's, the conclusion of the Box Boy story. It's very satisfying, and, it has a great amount of content. And features, and the levels continue to be expertly crafted by HAL Laboratory. Just a whole lot of fun. A great puzzle game. I'm a big fan of it. As you can tell, because I imported the damn amiibo, I'm gonna talk about this damn amiibo some more, just because that's how I live my life, talking about amiibos. Okay, number 1. So this is a series that I had not really played before.
I played a little bit, but I've never played a proper entry, main series entry. That's Metroid: Samus Returns. I was really, really impressed by this game. The visuals, the 3D effect, the environments, the music, just the amount of exploration in this, the amount of collectibles. It's really great. It's just so much fun to play. I love all the mechanics. Just playing this game feels really nice, and that's a really good sign when the game just plays well. There's some other games on the list that I would say accomplish that. It's just a great deal of fun and huge recommendation for me, definitely. My personal favorite 3DS game of this year that I played, which is definitely saying something since I have no real attachment to the Metroid series, because before Metroid: Samus Returns I'd only played the original Metroid a little bit, and I found it far too difficult and challenging to do, just not really worth it. And then Metroid Prime Federation Force, which is obviously a spin-off. I really enjoy it, but I recognize that it's not exactly what a Metroid game is. It's fairly far removed from the what a real Metroid experience is, even though I enjoyed it for what it was as a spin-off. But this game, it's made me interested in Metroid as a series. I want to see more. Made me interested in playing the Prime games, the Super Metroid, all those stuff. It's so much fun. I found the difficulty level quite approachable. It is very difficult, but it's manageable. Even if you're new to stuff like Metroid games, it has a lot of good features for beginners to the series who maybe necessarily don't want to go bombing every single wall to find the one thing they need to progress, stuff like that. It has a lot of great workarounds for stuff like that. The combat's a lot of fun. It's really great. The bosses are really great. They're really cool. I just love that game. Incredible stuff. Okay, this is the big one, and for this one I do have quite a few honorable mentions. Not that I necessarily think they're the best game of the year, just that I think they're very notable in terms of their quality. So first up in the honorable mentions, we have Sonic Mania. I've talked about it before. A really fantastic game. Return to form for the Sonic series. We haven't really had a game like this, since the classic Sonic games. It is a proper classic Sonic game. Released in 2017, which is fantastic. Huge props to everyone behind that. Just incredible. Yeah. Okay, next up we have, I just talked about this, Metroid: Samus Returns. Don't got much else to say about it, but yeah, just great to see a real proper Metroid game that people really respond to well. It's clear that there's actually a demand for this. I think it actually sold fairly well comparatively speaking, to Metroid in Metroid terms, and that's encouraging because it's clearly a series people are quite passionate about, and hopefully we get to see Samus return even more past this. And of course we have Bye Bye Box Boy. I love talking about this game. It's just a lot of fun. Great puzzles. Yeah, just another honorable mention. And then we have Snake Pass. I already talked about this. Just the sheer uniqueness of this game, I think, just made me put it on this list. It's great stuff. Totally check that out. One of the most unique games I played this year, probably. And then we have Splatoon 2. This is, I think I had some problems with this, specifically the single-player campaign, but it is essentially, the first game with some enhancements, which I think really works really well. First game was great. This is also great. It's so much fun just to play online. Highly recommend Splatoon 2. It's one of the best games on Switch. It has a lot of content constantly being added also. Definitely one of the best games of this year. Okay, so the first numbered entry, we have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I loved Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is Mario Kart 8 with more, and it's portable. Totally one of my favorite experiences this year. Played a lot with it, just in terms of online. I 3-starred all the cups just because you have to. Yeah, it really is one of my favorite Mario Kart games. It definitely, obviously surpassed 8 because it's a better version of Mario Kart 8. That definitely had to be on my list. At number 4, we have Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. This is, one of the most surprising games of the year. It's so shocking how great this game is. It is so much fun. The difficulty, it's actually quite difficult, I found, for me at least. Just strategizing through every level, and all the music, the character designs. Oh, I love this game. This game has such a great personality. All the characters really stand out. Great game. Totally had to mention it. Okay, we're moving on to the big ones. Number 3, I have ARMS. I utterly loved ARMS. When I first played the test punch, I was super intrigued just because the controls feel so weird. I play with motion controls. They feel very strange at first, but then when you get used to them, you're like, oh my god, this is so cool. It's like I'm actually punching. It's like when people say it's like Wii Sports Boxing, it's like that, but it's like it's far enhanced, and obviously it has its own identity of its own. And I spent a lot of time playing that game, and it's the first time I've ever played any like proper ranked mode really in a Nintendo game. And I had a lot of fun with that even, and I think that's saying a lot that you can play on ranked and still enjoy yourself, because usually when I play like competitive Smash Bros. Online, I'm just like, this is just not fun. And whenever I tried that with other games, I'm just like not into it. Even Splatoon, I'm just like, I can't really get into it. With ARMS, I was like, oh, this is fun. Even though I mean, obviously I didn't do amazing, but it was just so much fun. And you know, the character designs. Shout out to Helix, best character 2017. The character designs of this game are incredible. The aesthetic really works well, and totally one of my favorite games of this year. I looked at my playtime counter recently, and it was at 70 hours. I'm like, wow, I actually played quite a bit of that game. So yeah, it's totally my number 3. Number 2, it's Zelda Breath of the Wild. Yeah, this is utterly one of my favorite games this year. It's probably my favorite Legend of Zelda game. It's so much fun. It's so beautifully crafted. Just the feeling of wonder and adventure you get while playing the game is like, it's utterly unique. Totally irreplaceable. Never had any kind of experience that I've had with any other game like I've had with this game. So I think this game was controversial for quite a few reasons, in that it sort of uprooted some Zelda traditions and did its own thing. We have a far less of a focus on dungeons than in previous games, which I actually really like, because I'm not actually a big fan of the huge Zelda dungeons that you spend like 3 hours on. I'm not really into that. That's kind of why one of the main issues I have with the other 3D Zeldas games I've played. I feel like whenever I find a dungeon, I'm like, oh, here we go, another 4-hour section where I'm just stuck here. But yeah, that's just me. And so for me, the changes they made, where they focus on more on the smaller dungeons, but there are more of them spread across, works really well. I liked that the story element was more subdued. I think that worked for it. I mean, there could have been more, but I think what they had worked. I really liked conceptually, just these like thousands of year old ruins that you're discovering, and how you were in cryo sleep or whatever for 100 years, and you're going back to this like just deserted world. It's really great stuff. I think it actually works really well for the game, even if there's not a whole lot of cutscenes or whatever. I think the feeling that you get out of this world, the world itself, has a lot of personality. And then going back to dungeons, I actually really liked the Divine Beasts, because I thought that they were a good length. They were longer than the shrines, but they weren't oppressively long like some of the other Zelda dungeons as I've discussed. That's just my opinion, but I actually really liked them. I thought they were a good length. And I loved the interactive elements, how you could alter the dungeon from the map, and that would alter, the dungeon itself, and that would obviously open up different puzzle solving opportunities. So I love pretty much every aspect of that game. It's just so good. Of course, there's only one game that could surpass that, and that is Super Mario Odyssey. Super Mario Odyssey is my favorite game of 2017 for a variety of different reasons. One of which being that this game just basically it exudes fun. It's just fun distilled. Just playing the game, the feelings you get just controlling Mario. When you first hear Jump Up Superstar properly in New Donk City, the final area is just utterly incredible. Well, it's certainly one of the best Mario games ever made, but it's up there. Just every aspect of this game is just beautifully done, and in my eyes, it has essentially no flaws. I'm not finished with this game. There's a whole lot of different moons to get. I like to take my time with games. Yeah, just the sheer amount of content, just the sense of discovery and adventure, and just the music is just incredible. One of the best Mario soundtracks ever made, and yeah, I mean, I really don't got much else to say about it. It's it's just so incredibly good. And I think that's going to wrap it up for my list of some of the highlights of this year. So we had some really fantastic games this year. If you compare it to even just previous years, like it's been a while since we got so much consistent quality throughout the year. It's just been great stuff, and hopefully they can keep that up in 2018. We got a new Kirby game, we got a new Yoshi game, we got all that amazing stuff, and I'm very excited to see where all that goes. And thanks for watching, and it's been fun to discuss, look back on the year, on the fantastic year we've had. The Nintendo Switch is selling incredibly well, and I've just had a whole lot of fun talking about it. Thanks for listening to me talk about games for a bit.